Here comes the age-old question. Are horror movies sinful to watch? I don't think so. Actually, I believe these movies affirm what we learn in church. Some Christians think horror movies invite evil, and there are, of course, some movies I would categorize as straight-up evil, but I actually think many horror movies teach Christian truth better than some Christian movies do. So today, I'm going to point out the Christian teachings in some of our favorite horror movies. I know most of these directors probably didn't intentionally put Christian messages in these, I'm just simply offering a Christian interpretation. Let's start with Alien is at its core a monster film about a terrifying creature hunting down crew members on a spaceship. But the true antagonist is actually a corporation by the name of Weyland-Yutani. Their goal is to retrieve the alien organism at the expense of the crew on board the ship. This rather ties into the book of Genesis, specifically Adam and Eve, when they decide to take part of the forbidden fruit after God commands them not to. They were captivated after Lucifer promised them that they would be as gods, knowing good and evil. The pair are then met with the fall of humanity. The Weyland-Yutani Corporation in Alien chases the same promise of godlike status that the terrifying alien on the ship may offer them. They essentially want to establish corporate dominance by extracting the perfect organism, an apex predator that could wipe humanity off the map. Just like in the Garden of Eden, the corporation grasps for something beyond their power to control. They underestimate the vastness of what they want to conquer. The many deaths in Alien are a result of what happens when someone becomes obsessed with their own legacy, and how we can be blinded by the promise of power. This is a very Christian concept that God warns about us in the Bible many times.
Want to walk me a while?
Yeah, I do, Pete.
You boys are the answer. The long walk is the answer.
And then we have The Long Walk, one of the most bleak and depressing films you will find from a Stephen King adaptation.
Promise me one thing.
Yeah.
Don't watch him do it. Okay, promise me. Promise me.
I promise.
Promise me.
I promise. I promise.
Going home. Going home.
Just a little longer, right?
No.
Just a little longer.
Going home.
Warning. Second warning 6.
In this film, 50 young men are recruited to walk until only one man is left standing. Whoever fails to maintain the pace ends up getting shot. In this movie, you'd expect these men to clash against each other for their own survival, and the riches you receive for being the last man standing. However, it's the opposite. The two main characters, Ray Garrity and Peter McVries?
Pete. Peter McVries.
Both end up embodying this verse in Galatians 6:2. Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. The duo constantly risks their own lives to help each other, despite knowing only one of them can make it out alive. They, and the other young men on the long walk, choose selflessness and love for one another, even when the other is an obstacle to their own survival. This aspect of the movie is so beautiful, despite the horrifying concept of the long walk. Another verse that ties into this movie is from Matthew 5:44, "Love your enemies." The movie's main antagonist is referred to as the Major. He is in charge of running the long walk and is responsible for murdering Ray's father, who rebelled against the system years prior. Ray holds on to this hate and plans to shoot the Major if he wins the competition. In one of the best scenes of the movie, Peter discovers this. He begs Ray to choose love, telling him that vengeance is not enough. If you fight a monster by becoming monstrous, the monster wins.
Vengeance, Ray. Vengeance is not enough.
In this scene, Peter embodies a teaching from Christ, to be able to find the light amidst darkness and choose humanity.
Ray, listen to me. If you make this, I suggest you choose love. I suggest you take that prize and go home to your mom because Ray, you go fucking care. And you deserve it.
And he also just so happens to have one of the apostles' names, so that helps. Which is why the dark twist at the end is an unfortunate tragedy for his character.
This is for Ray.
Loving your enemies isn't simple. It can require nearly everything your soul has to give.
If you read the back of the box.
Is it even real?
Yeah, it's real.
No, I know that the... Is her love real?
Just because you chose this for her doesn't make it less real.
You probably watched the movie Obsession and thought, there's no way a Christian teaching is in this film. But hang on, don't blow me off yet. I got something here. In this movie, the main character Bear gets a hold of a one-wish willow. He makes a wish that his crush, Nikki, would love him more than anyone in the world. And it works!
Nikki?
Kind of. Yeah, his crush goes completely nuts. But we learn later in the film that this entity isn't actually Nikki. Instead, the wish essentially creates a mimic that takes over her body while trapping the real Nikki inside. But why would a wish do that? Because of agency. Free will. We know that one of the most important principles of God's creation is the gift of free will, the ability to choose right from wrong and to love who we choose. In order for love to be real, it has to be a choice. True love can't be forced. This is why God would never force us to love him, because the emotion wouldn't be real. And that's also why the wish couldn't force the real Nikki to love him. It had to create a counterfeit puppet instead. The horrifying actions of the entity Bear conjures are the direct consequence of him trying to strip away Nikki's agency. This movie seems to perfectly emphasize the sacred value of free will, and it proves that trying to control another person's soul will always lead to destruction. This one definitely has a clear connection to Christianity. Usually for Christians, any kind of content that has to do with evil spirits and demons is immediately cut from their watch list. But The Conjuring can be a special exception. If a movie about two devout Christ-like disciples going forth and casting out demons in the name of Jesus Christ is too evil for you to watch, wait till you read the New Testament. The end of this film shows the power of spiritual authority. Ed is one of the demonologists in the films, and he relies strictly on his faith to fight against the darkness, embodying Luke 10:19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. The Conjuring, and throughout the Bible, have a consistent theme that simple human strength is completely useless against spiritual evil. This film depicts faith as the main contender against all spiritual enemies. It reminds us not to rely on our own strength alone, but on the strength of God.
By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
I get it. Sometimes watching a horror movie prevents you from feeling the Spirit of God. I totally respect people who stay away from these types of movies for that reason. But I think horror movies are uniquely able to teach a theme and have it stick with you longer than almost any other genre can. It teaches us that evil is actually real, but faith and courage are stronger. Christianity teaches us not to ignore the darkness, but to overcome it. Once you understand what the movie is trying to convey, and see how it can actually strengthen your morals and testimony, I'd say watching that movie was far from committing a sin.